Good afternoon and welcome to the 45th Annual Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine Convocation and White Coat Ceremony. I'm Dr. Gary Leroy, Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Admissions. It is my privilege to act as your Master of Ceremonies. This is a very special occasion because it is our first virtual Convocation and White Coat ceremony in the history of our school. Today, we will be using technology to formally welcome the class of 2024 and introduce them to the beginning of their medical profession. Dr. Brenda Roman, Associate Dean of the Department of Medical Education and our Interim Dean of the Boonshoft School of Medicine, will now come to the podium to give a few remarks.
Welcome to the Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine. While we would have loved to meet all of you in person today, following a week of in-person orientation activities, the COVID-19 pandemic has taught us that flexibility is necessary in these uncertain times. The education necessary to become a physician includes clinical skills training and taking care of patients. While we are taking precautions to keep students as safe as possible, being a physician has always meant some risk, and that is what makes the profession of medicine so special. All of you were called to serve, as were the physicians before you, despite these risks. You were selected from among thousands to join our Boonshoft School of Medicine family, and we are already so proud of you. We can't wait to see what you will do during your time with us, including helping us to ensure that we have a curriculum that is committed to social justice. Through December, and maybe longer, remember flexibility is key, almost all large group sessions will be held virtually. These include the team-based learning and peer instruction sessions. Our exams will be given at White Hall with appropriate precautions, of course. Clinical skills training and other small groups will occur in person, again with modifications. You have an incredibly dedicated group of faculty and staff that will do everything they can to facilitate your learning, and you will learn and grow more than you ever dreamed you could in such a short period of time, from biochemistry, physiology, anatomy, and many other subjects, to learning about the social determinants of health, to the skills of patient interviewing and examination. Given the uncertain times in our society, I would like to finish with this quote from an inspirational woman, Michelle Obama. You may not always have a comfortable life, and you will not always be able to solve all the world's problems all at once. But don't ever underestimate the impact you can have, because history has shown us that courage can be contagious and hope can take on a life of its own. Indeed, you will impact the lives of many as students and ultimately as physicians around the world. Best wishes as you start your journey with us at Boonshoft.
It is my pleasure to introduce our speaker, Dr. George Saloom. Dr. Saloom has been a passionate and dedicated member of the medical community, both locally and around the country. Dr. Saloom is an ophthalmologist and a current oculoplastic fellow with Tennessee Oculoplastics in Nashville. He grew up both in Wooster, Ohio and Ithaca, New York. He attended the State University of New York at Geneseo and graduated with a bachelor's degree in biochemistry in 2006. He went on to attend the Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine and graduated in 2011. He completed a transitional internship at the Kettering Medical Center in 2012. From there, Dr. Saloom served 4 years as an active duty flight surgeon with the United States Air Force Special Operations Command out of Hillsborough Field Air Force Base in Florida. He served 3 deployment tasks in Africa, Afghanistan, and Iraq. While in Iraq, he had an American flag flown in honor of the Boonshoft School of Medicine. In 2016, he transitioned from the Air Force to the Air National Guard and simultaneously began ophthalmology residency at SUNY, upstate Syracuse, New York. He completed his residency training in 2019 and began his current fellowship through the American Society of Ophthalmic, Plastic, and Reconstructive Surgery. After completing his fellowship in 2021, he has plans to return to Syracuse and join private practice that supports medical education. Dr. Saloom and his wife, Jennifer, have been married for 8 years. They have a 5-year-old son, Camden, and a 2-year-old daughter, Madeline. Please join me in welcoming Dr. George Saloom.
Hello, everybody. I am George Saloom, proud alumni from the Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine's class of 2011. I must say I was honored to have been asked to give this year's commencement speech. Wright State made such an unbelievably positive impact on my life that I am so happy to be able to share this moment with you all. With that being said, I am so disappointed that I couldn't be there to meet all of you in person. Truly. Not sure what the deal was, but apparently they were so adamant on me not coming back to Dayton that they made up some national news about a virus going around and a pandemic or something insanely unbelievable. I get it, Wright State. The message is loud and clear. Anyways, before I start, I'm sure you are all already mesmerized by my recording studio. Yes, I am recording from my children's playroom. And yes, that has the best lighting. And yes, I have nowhere else to go when my kids are sleeping without waking them up. Oh, the joys of medical training with a family. Seriously though, back on track. What a powerful time to enter into medical school. Historically, generations have always picked a significant point in time to ask people where they were at that time. Consider JFK's assassination, 9/11, and now the Rona, 2020's COVID-19. Well, it'll be easy for you to remember where you were that year. You will be able to say it was the year you matriculated into medical school, virtually, potentially in your pajamas. Anyways, now on to the life-changing speech points. Number 1, you're about to start medical school. That is a huge milestone and accomplishment. You should be freaking unbelievably proud of yourself. Number 2, you will never be more genuine, compassionate, and selfless in your career than right now. I want to foot stomp that. Dr. Toussaint will appreciate that foot stomp reference. Make a point to remember this and remind yourself often of why you were here. What is it that motivated and inspired you to want to become a doctor? I promise you this will be what keeps you going and will provide you with true happiness, both professionally and personally. I entered medical school wanting to become a pediatrician. It was really the only reason I even considered medical school. Specifically, I wanted to do developmental pediatrics or something similar. It was what fueled me. Wanting to care for kids with disabilities that were completely out of their control, by the way, was what got me up in the morning. When I was in college, I became best friends with a classmate of mine with Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. He was such an amazing soul. Long story short, I not only befriended him, but his family as well. I ended up being his disability aide. But in reality, I was just his friend and was saving his family a ton of money by them not having to hire an actual disability aide. Anyways, we became very close, and I don't really think I realized the impact that I had on his life until after he passed away at the young age of about 23. After that sad day, I often talked with his family, and they made me realize how much more life I gave him while he was alive. It's moments like these that are the fuel that I'm talking about. I will give you another reference, so just bear with me a second. Hopefully not too many of you have already put me on mute or at least haven't considered it yet. In medical school, in case you already forgot, I wanted to go into pediatrics. Did I not foot stomp that enough? During my time on inpatient pediatrics, and honestly, even on my days off, I would go up to the pediatric floors and I would sit and talk or play with the patients. It was probably one of the most impactful times of my entire medical school career. If a kid mentioned something that they really wanted to have or do, like build a Lego set, and it was something fairly reasonable that a poor medical student could afford, well, I would go out and buy it for them. I vividly remember my time with one particular patient and their family as well that I became very close with. The patient was about 13 or 14 years old and had cystic fibrosis. He was frail and very small for someone his age, but he was an unbelievable person. He was in and out of the hospital with what appeared to be on a monthly basis. He came from very little. When his family was with him in the hospital, you could tell they had very little as well. But gosh, they couldn't have loved him anymore. It was powerful. My relationship with them started by just sitting and chatting with them throughout my time on inpatient peds. I learned of the patient's interests and realized he liked sports. I know he hated being cooped up in his hospital room, so I went out and bought a football and would take him out to the courtyard during the day and pass the football around with him. After a few more conversations, I realized he had never tried Skyline chili. Blasphemy. So what did I do? I bought a bunch of chili dogs and brought it to him and his family to eat at the hospital. Eventually, he was discharged, and I was really excited about that. I ended up scoring some sweet tickets to a Dayton Dragons game and picked him up one day and spent the day with him at the ballpark. I bought him a hat, a shirt, one of those oversized novelty #1 foam fingers. It was a memory for the books. Unfortunately, soon after, he was readmitted again for a cystic fibrosis exacerbation. We talked more and more, and one day I came in with a Cincinnati Reds hat. I told him that I had tickets for us to go, and him and his family were just ecstatic about this. Unfortunately, shortly after that admission, he had passed away. It broke my heart, and it unfortunately reminded me a lot of my college friends passing a few years back. His family treated me like family. I attended his sister's high school graduation party and stayed in touch with them for quite some time. So where am I going with all of this? Let me ask you what you think I'm doing with my time now. Am I in pediatrics? Well, after graduation from Wright State, I did a transitional year. Then I spent 4 years on active duty with the Air Force Special Operations Command, doing 0 pediatrics. Then I entered an ophthalmology residency. Sure, in ophthalmology, I would see pediatric ophthalmology. But then I entered into where I am now, an oculoplastic facial surgery fellowship with very little pediatrics. Pretty far away from my prior dreams of being a developmental pediatrician, huh? But it's what inspired me to enter medical school and my selfless activities during school that have forever molded me into the physician I am insanely proud to be today, both for me, my family, and the patients I'm honored to serve every day. Doesn't matter if you're a pediatric neurosurgeon or if you're a general plastic surgeon who just sucks fat from one part of the body and injects it into another part of the body. Being 100% there as an advocate for your patients is why you were here, and honestly, all that matters. Okay, so now we have foot stomped quite a bit about not turning into a jaded POS over the next 4 years. Easy enough. All right. Number 3. Enjoy your time here. Please, just do it. I promise you. Too many of you gunners feel that medical school is not supposed to be fun. And it blows my mind. This is 4 years of your life. And last time I checked, life is not infinite. So don't just roll over and die for grades. I mean, your gosh darn step 1 is pass fail now. Don't get me started on that. Wright State will be your new home for the next 4 years. So treat it as such. Get to know your colleagues, upperclassmen, underclassmen, faculty and staff. I prided myself on this. If you don't graduate sad to leave Wright State behind, then you miss something. Get involved with clubs, go out with friends, explore Dayton and the rest of Southwestern and Central Ohio. Go bother the admissions committee and other offices. Just make sure they know that I sent you. I prided myself on being friends with everyone, both classmates and faculty and staff. And it wasn't just superficial. I truly loved everyone I spent my 4 years with. In fact, I still communicate with several people to this day. I promise you that becoming enriched in your school and your community will put you in a better place than just keeping your nose in a book. What I have to say I love the most about Wright State is that it is not just a school, but rather it's a family. You have just become a part of a family that will unconditionally love and support you for the rest of your life. And I hope you will learn to do the same for Wright State. I am so unbelievably proud of you all, and I'm excited to hear of your accomplishments and successes for the rest of your life. Once again, congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Salome. Dr. Gregory Toussaint, Associate Professor of Pediatrics and Assistant Dean for Clinical Skills Education, will now present the history of the white coat.
Greetings to all out there that I cannot see from in here. I'm Greg Toussaint, one of the clinical faculty, and among those that will contribute significantly to our new students working their rear ends off over the next 4 years. We will spend a whole lot of time together learning clinical skills, but today it is my distinct privilege to speak a bit about this world of medicine. A symbol, something that expresses a particular idea or quality. Author Dan Brown's character of Robert Langdon in the Da Vinci Code, that played by Tom Hanks in the 2006 movie, based his career on interpreting society's symbols. Today, I present 3 symbols to accompany you on the journey towards becoming a physician. The stethoscope, the logo of our Boonshoft School of Medicine, and your white coat. First, that stethoscope. René Laennec, a French physician, gets credit for developing it in 1816. Yours may work a little better than his, but its inescapable connection to medicine continues. While the stethoscope is used by many disciplines in the field of medicine, its presence in the depiction of a physician is almost ubiquitous. Whether in a coat pocket, dangling from, or hanging around someone's neck, the stethoscope represents something the person with it can do, others cannot. Healing. It is a symbol of healing, and it is now one of yours. Not all specialties use a stethoscope as part of their duties, and in truth, many physicians who still do probably have forgotten how to accurately interpret all that they hear. It is a tool you will learn how to use correctly, but in doing so with patience, the simple act of examining another human being conveys a powerful message. The person with it can do something others cannot. It is a 300-year-old link back to Dr. Laennec. Next, the Boonshoft School of Medicine logo, our unit patch, if you will. In the center of the green shield is a gold staff with a single serpent entwined around it. This is the staff of Aesculapius, the artistic symbol of medicine and one used by most medical associations around the world, including the World Health Organization. In Greek mythology, Aesculapius was the son of Apollo and an immortal woman, born to a dying mother and raised to train in the art of healing. Aesculapius became the symbol of the healer in Greek society and later throughout the Roman Empire. Wherever depicted, he carries a staff with a single serpent. Some medical organizations use the caduceus, a short rod entwined by two snakes and topped by a pair of wings. The caduceus is the magic wand of the Greek god Hermes, to the Romans Mercury, whose connection with the healing arts really is pretty thin. Green and gold, our Wright State University colors. One year, a set of devoted Chicago Bears fans told me they were willing to let their daughter wear Green Bay Packer colors, but only for the time she was with us. And she graduates next spring. Lastly, the white coat. Among the many symbols that historically help represent physicians, the one more commonly associated, perhaps and even the stethoscope, is the white coat. Centuries ago, clerical healers wore black robes, and until the late 1800s, black formal dress was expected of physicians in American society. Somber and dark, it was in keeping with the message that was so often conveyed of when or how the person would die, not how they could be cured. Advances in science changed medicine, and care moved from the home to the hospitals. Hospitals themselves changed from places of dying to those for living. Photographs of surgeons at Boston's Massachusetts General Hospital in 1889 show them wearing short white coats. And in 1913, the Michael Reese Hospital in Chicago ordered all its clinical staff to wear white. The white coat evolved to symbolize healing, and I submit, whether in Hollywood or your hometown, the perception of a physician likely involves a white coat. In books, cartoons, TV shows, physicians wear long white coats. Even Disney Junior's Doc McStuffins. She too has one, and a stethoscope, and a bag of other instruments, and the big book of boo-boos with its list of expert diagnoses. Don't worry, just have a niece or nephew fill you in, but do so before I see you on the pediatric clerkship. Short coat, long coat. Could fit with one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, if Dr. Seuss's book was about physician training. Depending upon the institution, length and style of the white coat can help distinguish the learner. If you have a grandparent who's a physician, or you've seen a movie depicting medicine in the 50s or 60s, interns and residents all wore white, and they were usually short, tunic-style jackets, often with cloth fasteners. As a medical student, my residents all wore bright white pants or skirts and long white coats, while our short-sleeve, waist-length coats allowed us to identify us as students from way down the hall. Time never stops, institutions change, and infection prevention policies evolve. Scrubs in job-specific colors now are required dress in many hospitals. Residents and attending faculty may not wear coats at all. Your Boonshoft white coat is a short one, while those of the physicians you work with, if they wear one, will be long. Does length really matter? They have the same pockets. You can put an iPad mini on the inside. Just look at those pictures former students of ours text me after graduation of them wearing the long white coat just issued them by their residency. Those giant smiles say everything. Wear it properly, wear it proudly, and when you do wear it, it needs to still be white. If you've not committed to memory the laundry instructions from those who raised you, better write them down this weekend. Trusting Tide-to-Go pens is not the answer, and it is not effective against all those teeny tiny microbes you will now work regularly around. Can I say it enough? Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. So 3 symbols: a stethoscope, the Boonshoft School of Medicine patch, and a white coat. Each long associated with the profession of medicine, and now are yours as well. In 46 months, we will gather together again, hopefully in person, for your graduation. Until then, this is it. You are now our Boonshoft School of Medicine student physicians. Welcome to the team.
Thank you, Dr. Toussaint. Dr. Brenda Roman, Associate Dean for Medical Education and our interim dean, will now introduce the class of 2024 and begin the white coat ceremony.
The white coat ceremony is a tradition at Wright State University Boonshoft School of Medicine. Through this ceremony, we ask that you commit yourself to scientific excellence and humanistic patient care. Achievement of these lofty goals begins today, both in the manner in which you approach your studies and in your treatment of each other as colleagues. Prior to today's ceremony, every student received a personalized white coat. The Gold Foundation, whose inspiration is the impetus for today's ceremony, provided a lapel pin for each white coat. Thank you to all the alumni and faculty who made a gift so that each incoming student could also receive a stethoscope during orientation. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you the members of the class of 2024. Now the class of 2024 will recite the Medical Student Honor Code Pledge. This is our students' personal pledge to uphold the Honor Code throughout their medical education at Wright State University, Boonshoft School of Medicine.
I publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities
Publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities
I publicly acknowledge and accept the privileges and responsibilities
given to me today as a physician in training.
Given to me today as a physician in training.
Is given to me today as a physician in training.
And dedicate myself to provide care to those in need.
And dedicate myself to provide care to those in need.
And dedicate myself to provide care to those in need.
I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity.
I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity.
I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity.
I will approach all aspects of my education with honesty and integrity.
Embracing opportunities to learn from patients, teachers, and colleagues.
Embracing opportunities to learn from my patients, teachers, and colleagues.
Embracing opportunities to learn from patients, teachers, and colleagues.
I will value and respect the knowledge and wisdom of the physicians who have preceded me.
I will value and respect the knowledge and wisdom from the physicians who have preceded me.
I will value and respect the knowledge and wisdom of the physicians who have preceded me.
I will value and respect the knowledge and wisdom of the physicians who have preceded me.
I will maintain the highest standards of professional conduct.
I will maintain the highest standards of professional conduct.
I will maintain the highest standards of professional conduct.
I will maintain the highest standards of professional conduct.
Academically, clinically, and socially.
Academically, clinically, and socially.
Academically, clinically, and socially.
Academically, clinically, and socially.
I will certify only that which I have personally verified.
I will certify only that which I have personally verified.
I will certify only that which I have personally verified.
I will certify only that which I have personally verified.
And I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations.
I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations.
And I will neither receive nor give unauthorized assistance on examinations.
I will recognize my weaknesses and strengths and strive to develop those qualities.
I will recognize my weaknesses and strengths and strive to develop those qualities.
I will recognize my weaknesses and strengths and strive to develop those qualities.
I will earn the respect of my patients, my colleagues, my family, and myself.
That I will earn the respect of my patients, my colleagues, my family, and myself.
I will earn the respect of my patients, my colleagues, my family, and myself.
I will continue to value relations with those who have supported me in the past and those who will share in my future.
I will continue to value my relations with those who have supported me in the past and those who will share in my future.
I will continue to value my relations with those who have supported me in the past and those who will share in my future.
I will strive to earn the trust my patients place in me.
I will strive to earn the trust of my patients place in me.
I will strive to earn the trust my patients place in me.
And respect that society places upon my profession.
And I will respect that society places upon my profession.
And the respect that society places upon my profession.
I will respect the humanity, rights, and decisions of all patients.
I will respect the humanity, rights, and decisions of all patients.
I will respect the humanity, rights, and decisions of all patients.
And will attend to them with compassion and without bias.
Attend to them with compassion and without bias.
And will attend to them with compassion and without bias.
Maintaining patient confidentiality, remaining tactful in my words and actions.
Maintaining patient confidentiality, remaining tactful in my words and actions.
Yes. Maintaining patient confidentiality, remaining tactful in my words and actions.
I will value the diversity of patients' experiences, cultures, and beliefs.
I will value the diversity of patients' experiences, cultures, and beliefs.
I will value the diversity of patients' experiences, cultures, and beliefs.
Because it enhances my ability to care for them
and enriches my education.
Because it enhances my ability to care for them and enriches my education.
Because it enhances my ability to care for them and enriches my education.
I will remember that medicine is an art as well as a science.
I'll remember that medicine is an art as well as a science.
I'll remember that medicine is an art as well as a science.
And that warmth, sympathy, and understanding are integral to patient care.
And that warmth, sympathy, and understanding are integral to patient care.
And that warmth, sympathy, and understanding are integral to patient care.
I will recognize the privileges afforded to me as a physician in training and promise not to abuse them.
I will recognize the privileges afforded to me today as a physician in training and promise not to abuse them.
I will recognize the privileges afforded to me as a physician in training and promise not to abuse them.
As a student, I will remain aware of my responsibilities.
As a student, I will remain aware of my responsibilities.
As a student, I will remain aware of my responsibilities
to improve the standard of health in my community.
To improve the standard of health in my community.
To improve the standard of health in my community.
To increase access to care for the underserved.
To increase access to care for the underserved.
To increase access to care for those underserved.
To increase access to care for the underserved.
And to advance medical knowledge.
To advance medical knowledge.
And to advance medical knowledge.
By accepting these new responsibilities.
By accepting these new responsibilities.
By accepting these new responsibilities.
By accepting these new responsibilities. I remember the importance of my own health and well-being.
I remember the importance of my own health and well-being.
As well as those of my colleagues.
As well as those of my colleagues.
As well as those of my colleagues.
Members of the class of 2024, you are now on your way to becoming doctors of medicine. To all those watching, please join me in welcoming the class into the profession of medicine. Members of the Boonshoft School of Medicine class of 2024, your life as you once knew it is about to change forever. Change is like an ever-present partner who you will despise when it takes you from your comfort zone, but you will love when it reveals your potential to becoming a better human being. Congratulations in reaching a tipping point in your life. Today, you have officially taken that first step towards becoming a doctor of medicine. So fasten your seatbelt. You are about to begin a very thrilling life journey. On behalf of the school, I thank the families, the friends, the faculty and staff who have been here to join with us today, and officially welcome the class of 2024 into the profession of medicine. This completes the 45th annual Boonshoft School of Medicine White Coat Ceremony. Thank you to everyone for joining us today.